Baby Rock. Did they fix it? We're about to find out. 7-round magazine of 380. First shots. Oh, I'm scared. Alright. Let's get it. Now, before we get into anything else, before the video continues, I do want to say one quick thing. Everything that I said in my last review on the Baby Rock was 100% honest. A lot of people are leaving comments about the 380, hating on the Rock Island, or 380 Baby Rock specifically. The gun was broken. We're just going to leave it at that. I returned the gun, wonderful customer service, and they ended up sending me a whole brand new Baby Rock. And this firearm, this copy that I have in my hands right now, is a lot better than the original copy that I had. So we're going to get into a lot of detail, but just know it was an honest review, it was straightforward, and how I perceive the pistol. So we'll get into the rest of the video now. Wow, I think that was only 2 jams. Maybe it's improving. As you can see in my hand here, we have the infamous Baby Rock. A 1911 chambered in 380. And the reason why I say notorious or infamous is this pistol has gotten a reputation on my channel of causing problems. Alright, I put out a review on this gun that was an honest review. It jams, not like any other guns that I have, and I didn't like it. Sue me. I've contacted the people over at Rock Island Arms Corps, and they are taking this pistol back to get work done on it because it should not function the way it is. That's a simple fact. So I will give the Baby Rock another try once we get that package back. So this is a little send-off party. Next clips that you're going to see are when we receive this pistol back. So some of the problems that we've been having with this pistol are, if you look close in there, probably won't be able to see it because there's not much light, but where the slide stop comes up, the slide lock, it interacts with the bullets. So if I put the magazine in, right, I go to drop it, it only comes out maybe half an inch, so I got to rip it out, and then you can see on the tip of the bullet there, there's a little bit of marring from that the slide lock. So the slide lock's interacting with the next bullet coming up, which is forcing the slide up. That's one of the issues. It's also having feeding issues sometimes where the bullets won't always come up. I understand that that happens, but the majority of the problems are with that slide locking. So we're going to send another magazine here. Just like that. The slide lock gets, and if I take out this magazine, it drops the slide. Not a round loaded, but it will drop that slide. And you gotta force that magazine out again, scratching the tip of that bullet, which is not a big issue. But we're gonna reinsert our mag, load it up again, and again, side locking back. Right there. Doesn't happen every time, but it's often enough. And we're out. So because of these issues, I'm sending this pistol back again to get work done, and We will review it once we receive it back, and hopefully they can fix the issues. Maybe it's just my copy. That's a fair thing to point out. Other people might have better experiences with these firearms. I might have just gotten a bad copy. But we're going to give it another chance at a fair review, and we'll see how it goes that time. See you guys in who knows how much time. It's looking good. All right, first shot, no jams. We just got through a whole magazine on the Baby Rock without a jam. That's pretty awesome. Let's throw some more ammo in it, and hopefully this continues. I'm actually excited now. Every video. Yes. Alright, come on. Guys gotta make the money. Rock Island Armory. The Baby Rock finds its way home. So, today's video is on the Baby Rock 1911 chambered in the tiny but mighty 380 ACP. A few things I want to go over before we really dive into detail here are a few things that I got wrong, a few things that I think people mistook about the video, the last video we did on this firearm. So one thing that I know I got wrong, and it's my bad, but I'll explain, is saying that the 9mm cartridge is the parent cartridge for the 380. This is wrong. Now, there's a part in the video where there's a cut right after I say that. And what I meant to say, and I kind of said it after, but I fumbled, so I cut it out of the video, was that the 9mm is most comparable to the 380 in today's world. It's the most similar, most compared when you compare the 380 against another cartridge. So I was incorrect in saying that the 9mm was a parent cartridge. However, what I meant to say was it was the most comparable. Another thing that people got wrong was my hatred towards 380. I don't necessarily think that you shouldn't carry 380. I was kind of making a joke about it, but I don't personally like 380 as a cartridge. I wouldn't carry it for myself because I have many guns that are in 9mm. 9mm is cheap, I can go to the range, I got big hands, so I like a full-size grip, especially during the winter. That being said, if you have smaller hands or you would like less recoil, a 380 makes sense, but in this package, not necessarily, and we'll get into that. But that's the whole cartridge debate. So another thing that some people were commenting, which clearly showed that they didn't watch the full video or even half the video, was that I was hating on the Rock Island Baby Rock 380, or Rock Island as a company in general. I wasn't necessarily hating on Rock Island with their quality of the handguns or anything like that. I haven't honestly looked at a whole lot of Rock Islands. This was my only one that I've owned, and I've barely held any of them. I'm not super interested in 1911s at this point, not that I wouldn't want to own one. It's just I'm trying to build up other parts of my collection, and when it comes to pistols, concealed carry pistols, things I'm actually going to be able to use, whether it's defending the house or concealed carry out in public. The 1911 is not something that I would consider a good carry gun in today's environment when there are several options out there that are better. That being said, I did not talk any crap about the 380. Instead, I actually said that it's pretty good build quality. It seems pretty solid. It's all metal. So overall, I wasn't hating on Rock Island as a company. Not necessarily the Baby Rock either, but we'll go into that and why I had some merit on what I said. And the last thing about the last video that I made on this pistol that I think some people didn't fully understand was how to disassemble this firearm. Now, I've been around 1911s before. I've disassembled them. I know how they come apart. That being said, This pistol is a little bit different because it is shrunken down. So for example, the cap here for the spring, you wouldn't want to put that in because it doesn't leave you any room to manipulate the barrel bushing, okay? So you would in fact take the firearm, disassemble the slide as you normally would in step like 3 or something. Now your top slide comes off, right? And that leaves you with the full upper assembly. From there, you take out the spring to release tension. So the spring comes out. Now, normally the spring retention cap there already goes in, or you push it in. And now your barrel bushing is free to move. Whole barrel can come out and take apart the whole assembly like that. Now it's completely apart. If you were to do it the other way, it'd be very difficult to get this little tiny cap, right, pressed in enough to get the really small bushing off the end of the barrel. So again, reassembly is the opposite. Barrel goes in, then you put the spring retention cap, barrel bushing, spring guide, and now this spring is a little bit bigger, or at least a little bit more tension. Then you take your lower, slide your you slide your slide back on, and you're good to go. Alright, on this magazine we're just going to mag dump and see how fast we can get these shots off. I'm excited now. Not too bad. I think how I have to grip it with the trigger, and we are clear. I have to grip it with the second part of my finger just because my hands are so big. But man, it actually runs. Now that's kind of exciting and fun. All right, there is one thing that I want to try. It's not going to ruin the gun, but just as you can see here on my hand, there is some rubbing, some redness. So that metal keeps on hitting the webbing of the hand, and when I'm shooting regular 1911, it's more of a push. With the 380, it's more of a pop, so it's coming back a lot faster on you. So we're gonna throw some grip tape on this, and we're gonna try it again, see if we can remedy that a little bit. It'll actually make it really fun to shoot now that it actually functions. So let's go try that out. So apologize if you hear any wind noise. It is quite a windy day. It is October. So we're gonna take our magazine out. We are clear. So the way this is gonna work, and we are kind of bypassing its safety on the 1911, which I will say on the last version, this grip safety was a big pain. I don't know if it was just the gun itself, because obviously there was a lot wrong with it, but this grip safety, I'm not finding myself worrying about that grip safety anymore. I'm gonna really press down on it. So I don't know if I got used to the gun or if that was an issue that was resolved, but I have to say, so far, my impressions on this firearm have changed. So we're gonna take some of this grip tape, it's like for hockey sticks, stuff like that, and we're gonna wrap around the base of this tang here, really focusing on up here where the webbing of the thumb sits. So I just realized I forgot my knife in the car, but we're gonna get this all wrapped up and show you the final product. All right, so here's the grip job that we did. We had quite a bit of grip tape just to fatten that up there, as you can see. We threw a couple layers on the top here for the webbing. So we're gonna fire 7+1 just to see how this does. All right, 7+1. You know, I have to say, that almost makes it enjoyable. I almost have a spot in my heart for 380 now. I will say it is nice to have a mini 1911. It is pretty cool. And, you know, sometimes, you know, every company is going to have it. Remington, Winchester, Ruger, they're all going to have a bad copy of their weapons here and there. So whatever they did to fix it, it was all free. The only thing I had to pay for was the transfer of the firearm. Since it was new to me, I had to have it retransferred. But we're going to fire this magazine just because I'm starting to have fun with it. I can't believe it. But another magazine. So, as you can see, the firearm functions perfectly fine. We did not get a single hiccup in 50 rounds. So, it's about 7 magazines worth. And before, that would have been 5 or 6 jams per magazine. And we didn't get a single one. So, I'm very happy with everything. And Rock Island as a company has been amazing with the customer service and getting this pistol fixed or replaced in my case, and everything, the whole process has been great, and I'm really happy now with my Baby Rock. It's a great shooting gun now that it actually works. There are a few things that I'll get into here that still kind of ring true for me, but we'll get into that. So first things first, I do notice a few differences here between the new copy and the old copy. I don't know if it's different generations or if mine was just made poorly, but one of the first things I noticed was that everything kind of seemed a little bit more quality. The safety actually stayed up rather than easily coming down and slipping down. That was one of my critiques of it in the original video when carrying, sometimes, if I did carry it, because at the time I didn't have any smaller framed pistols other than a Glock 45. So the safety is a lot crisper when it comes up. Another thing that I have noticed is the takedown of the gun. So I'm disassembling it here again. So before, I used to have to fight this slide to come off. Now, pops right off very easily, so either it was machined better or something. Another thing that I don't think I pointed out in the original video, but the extractor fin was popping out. It just wasn't set in place properly, so that's so far fixed. The spring is a little bit heavier duty here on the new version. I don't know if they just have updated it again or if they gave me a better spring, but that's new. And outside of that, everything just seems like it's better quality, and in essence, everything just seems to be just slightly better, like slightly noticeably better on this copy versus the old one. Again, I don't know if this is an updated version of the Baby Rock or not. A couple things that I noticed that weren't, it's a small thing, it's the finish on the gun. I'm not really complaining because I'm more function over form, but and it's going to be really hard to tell on camera, but on the slide lock, on the top part, it almost looks like the finish has either worn off or wasn't fully finished, I guess. I don't know. But there's a little bit of wear on this part. And also on the extractor there, or extractor spring, there's a little bit of a line which almost looks like it's not pot metal, but not really manufactured from one piece. But again, it functions. That's all I care about. And lastly, on the barrel, there's a little bit of some scuff marks there. which I think is just them making sure that it functions properly, which everything works fine. So, what are my final thoughts on the Rock Island Baby Rock 1911 and 380? Well, would I consider this a good carry gun? No. And that's just because the simple 7+1 capacity mixed with the 380 cartridge and the overall size of it. It's a single stack 380. It's not great in my opinion for concealed carry. Outside of that, on the range, is it fun now? Yeah, but I would limit it to that. Another thing about the firearm, which I experienced in the first video, and it's still true, and it's always going to be true for this model, a lot of people pick 380 because it has less recoil. Now, just in my opinion, the 380s aren't as comfortable to grip, thus the recoil tends to move around a little bit in the hand when you don't have as good of a grip. Additionally, on this 380, the full metal slide is coming back at that high speed, right? Because the 380 is more of a top than a push. So that full metal slide mixed with a full metal frame does make it a little uncomfortable to shoot. That being said, is it manageable? Yes. Is it going to hurt? Not really. It's just discomfort. So would I shoot this all day long? Probably not, but it's still a fun pistol. In my opinion, I'm still going to have fun bringing this out to the range now that it's not practically a single shot or manual operated gun with all the malfunctions. Another thing is the caliber. I was technically wrong, not fully wrong, about the price of ammo. A lot of the 380 that you'll find, especially in mom and pop shops, even at big box stores like Cabela's, 380s typically around that 50 cent around range. Herders, I believe I found it for 21 bucks for a box of 50. Kind of getting down there, but not really. Meanwhile, I can find 9mm for 25-30 cents around. So that part of the video, I still like 9mm as a cartridge in all over the 380. Price, availability, and just the gun size chambered in, and how comfortable they are to shoot. If they made a full-size 380, maybe it would be fun to shoot, but snappy recoil, small guns, eh. So I have to say, in all, I'm pleasantly surprised with Rock Island and everything that they've done. Now, my local gun store guy, he's said that he's had to ship a few Rock Islands back. But that being said, I don't think that's necessarily the biggest deal. They were able to fix it. They sent me a whole new one, and I'm really appreciative of that. And I didn't have to pay anything for shipping or anything like that. So overall, great experience with the Rock Island company. So that's the review of the Baby Rock 1911. Now that the gun actually functions, I'm going to give it a good grade. Before, I gave an honest review on what I had at the moment. So that wasn't the best copy of this firearm, I will say that. But it did happen, and Rock Island reached out and fixed it. Gave it a second review. This is all honest, People are not going to like it, but it is what it is. The gun works, the gun functions, and we haven't had a single hiccup in almost 50 rounds. So, the break-in period for these guns, I will note, is 500 rounds. That being said, the issues I was having were not part of that break-in process, but gotta give it an A-, man. Great gun. So, thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, and remember, keep it loud in your corner. Thanks.